Hello, everyone. I don't know if you can hear us.
2, 3, just like that.
What's up?
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another live with Esoteric Nexus. Today we have Braden and me and
Osmosis Jones.
Rice and Foos.
yeah,
And some almond stuff.
Danish.
That.
Almond Danish. And I don't know what
Snacks.
Danish you got.
That's the cheese Danish. Cream cheese.
Where did my drink go?
That's mine.
Whichever one's the tallest one. I don't know. That's why I got the
Rocky
shortest
Road.
one.
This might be yours. I'm just
because I turned it.
We turned the table around.
my bad.
That's okay. We just decided to move the chairs before we started. So last week we talked about Samhain, and I did a little bit more digging and found some more facts to bring everyone on the origins of Samhain.
Awesome.
So Samhain originated in Ireland. There are a couple different stories for the origins of Halloween and how it started. And one of them is the cave of Owen Knock, or it's also known as the portal to the other worlds or the gate to hell. The myth of the Morgan and the Dagda tells the story of the cave of Owen Knock, however it is pronounced.
Oh, you did good.
The Morgan, that is supposed to be the entrance to hell, which is where the Morgan lives. And on Samhain, it is believed that the dead come back to walk amongst us, and they would exit out of that cave, and there's said to be seen weird goblins and creatures coming out of that opening. Of course.
Could you imagine that there's a cave where new types of creatures just, for lack of a better term, spawn?
Wouldn't that be like a portal?
I mean, it could be a portal. It could just be something as simple as like there's a whole nother ecosystem within the cave.
You actually still see that with like caves in deep ocean research. We discover new species in the deep ocean that we've never seen, or if like a deep cave like the axolotl.
Yeah.
We didn't know about that guy
Yeah,
for a
no
while,
kidding.
but he was
Great word, bud.
But-
Axolotl.
axolotl.
But like to find creatures that would exist in a not cave setting, so like the cave that you come across is really just one elongated tunnel to a whole other ecosystem that can exist in both places. So that's when animals come across that tunnel, and then you're just seeing these really weird looking animals that you've never seen before. And you're like, well, it doesn't look like something belongs in the cave, but that definitely doesn't look like it's over here.
Like Sasquatch comes from, is that he like travels through portals and like in and out of time
hollow
and
earth
dimensions, right? And that's why he's like so really, yeah. That's what the
We're on
Navajo
Sasquatch,
Nation
folks.
that they come in and out of like portals, right? And UFOs too, like UFOs, and that's how actually the creation of people were created, was like through a portal.
Yeah, I can see
Pretty
that.
fascinating, yeah.
Definitely.
And that you can only see them like
Stargate.
like only operating basically like interdimensionally, and so that's why you can only see them every so often.
You know what's wild is they just recently proved that have you heard of it's the magician square? It's Rhodes Sator something. It reads the same way forward as it does backwards. But
A Rubik's Cube.
yeah, but basically, and it doesn't matter which way you read any of the things, diagonal or otherwise, it'll be the same forward or backwards, or it'll be the same set of words.
Oh, there's a, what's the word for that? There's a slave.
What's a square?
It's a word that reads the same, backwards and forwards. Is it called an anagram? Is that the word?
I don't remember. There's another word for it. I think. Where it's-
Let us know in the
I'm
chat.
thinking upside down and right side up.
Kind of like
so-
race car, same thing forward. As
Yeah.
oh, no.
That would be an anagram.
No,
Yeah,
that would
this,
be an
but this
anagram.
isn't quite race car. So it was like, so it says Rhodes across the bottom, but then if you turn it around, it's going to say Sator, right? But then as you go up with the list of 5 words, they double back on themselves. So you got Rhodes on the bottom, you got Sator on the top. you've got opera at the bottom, but you've got.
You're gonna have to find this and you're gonna have to tag it.
Yes,
in the
okay,
video.
I will. And you'll have to remind me.
My mind
But
is blown right
I
now.
know,
Yeah.
right? It's a well. So they
Now I
just
wanna know.
they
Yeah.
discovered through looking at this thing and finding all these new, I don't know, theories. I can't science right now, but basically, in a nutshell, it shows at a certain frequency. Matter being ripped from one portal or through a little tiny portal
Yeah.
into another.
Interdimensionally.
Yes,
So it's
in
kind
a
of
way.
like proving string theory in a way.
In a way, but it's what's really cool about it is it makes the show. It makes the sign of the enemy.
Oh.
Quantum entanglement.
Exactly. But what's beautiful about this is so like, but they said it's in a liquid state and it's something to do with water.
Wow.
So then you're talking about Stargate and how it always looks really liquidy when they go through. So then we look at underwater cave areas where water is very plentiful. So it's not even necessarily that they need to have a built Stargate as much as they know how to hit that vibrational frequency. And that's why it's a magician's.
See how we circled back? You see how we circled back? Look, people got answers, apparently, maybe. That might be a thing. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it.
I can't read that far.
We'll definitely check those out at the end of the video and comment
Check your
our
DMs.
comments.
Check your DMs.
Don't answer any from Bryson, though.
In fact,
That's
actually,
weird.
I'll
No
join
IRL.
the live from my phone,
That'd be great.
and we could
Please.
Oh, hey, that's a
use
great
it as a
idea.
reference point.
Except you should also still engage.
Well, yeah, I'm
Thank you. Okay.
Are you in the
She
group?
said she doesn't like you.
Yes.
Are you in the group? Oh, I
You
did
just
invite. I
invited
did
me.
invite you.
Oh,
I did. Yes.
nice. Look at that. We have more people. Ooh. Yeah, so this cave is supposed to be one of the places of the first festivals for Samhain. Their second place that I found is the Hill of Ward, which is also in Ireland, or called
I love it.
It's a Gaelic word. Oh, no,
It's better known as the Hill of Ward, but it is supposed to be the place of the very first fire festival, and it's where I feel like fire really comes into the whole Samhain Halloween thing.
Ceremonious,
'Cause-
sort of.
Yeah. Because what happened was a big old bonfire was lit on this hill in the myth of, in the second battle of the Mad Curie. But ever since then, they keep building bonfires up there, and then everybody else in the town would douse their fires. And then we light this bonfire, and the bonfire is lit by somebody of serious importance. And then everybody else relights the fires in the earth with the fire from that bonfire.
Cool. So kind of like passing on the Olympic torch, essentially.
Well, it's like a city cleansing if you think about
Yes.
it. It's a time
That's
to
cool.
just like revamp and restart. And you're starting with a spiritual figure, starting out with a symbolic spiritual fire.
Which is also where the witch's New Year comes from.
Oh,
Because you
interesting.
restart and that fire burns all year long. Or technically the bonfire burns until the sun comes back, or a couple days sometimes. It dies down. But the big thing is the fire. The fire is lit there every year, and when researchers go back and look at this Hill of Ward, it is proven, and you can see through the layers, that there's been so many fires lit on this hill, right in that spot.
That's really cool though. Talk about keeping traditions alive. And then it's cool because when you have that fire aspect, you've got people that it's like it's a really conservative people. Other people it's like more an anxiety-driven thing. And then it starts to show where the split happens with Hollywood. Because you have those that fear because of what could be there. Then you have those that are like, we got the protections, it's all good. If you want to go out, we got costumes, so you're not
Oh
noticed.
my
and you're
goodness,
human.
there's some cool things that go with the traditions and the way that people celebrate it. Did you know that people used to set out saucers of milk for the cat sit or the cat
Aw.
fairy?
that's so
And if you
nice.
didn't leave out a saucer of milk, you would be cursed.
That's kind of way better than like a
Cats are
hairy
awesome.
old man
So there's
coming
this
through your
cat,
chimney.
cats in Halloween.
Because
I'd rather feed a cat than.
cats are so like their own creature.
Thanks,
It
Rick.
sets them off.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
You don't know
That-
what it does to set them off. So like, if I think it's gonna please them, it just
That cave is also known as the Cat's Cave, or the Cave of Cats, because the Morgan was known for having cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. They're like supposed to protect you from
Jeez.
the spiritual realm, right? Like if there's any negative or demonic sort
Right,
of
right.
spirits.
Cats will take care of it. They're the gatekeepers.
Right,
Or-
which is actually kind of accurate. I remember being pregnant and actually having, I am subjected to some really, really crazy dreams. And not just like, not while I'm pregnant, but just in general. Yeah, and I don't, like, I remember when I used to consume cannabis, like, that would submit a lot of the dreams. Like, I wouldn't have as many crazy dreams, but I remember being pregnant and having just some crazy, awful dreams. And the cats would always, I'd wake up and they would always be
So many chemicals going through your body,
Right.
and so much going on, and like you were creating another soul
Right.
inside you.
People
So,
don't
like,
opening
like
yourself
brain
to-
chemistry
yeah,
and
and
that.
there's a
I
huge
agree.
connection.
100
So
on that.
I mean, the crazy dreams while pregnant. I think that goes for a lot of pregnant
I just
people.
remember, like, anytime I was feeling unsafe when I would wake up.
And there's so
or-
much more vivid. It felt
Yeah,
like.
yeah. And I would wake up
Almost
and,
like
and
you
a
were
cat would be
there.
either right next to me or on my chest or at my feet. They were always on my bed, kind of making me
It's a very
feel like
common
it was
theme with like people that have consumed cannabis and then they stop and then all of a sudden it's
Right.
like
Suppressed
these
dreams.
or all of a sudden I've had all these dreams. It's like
Right.
backed up, so they just shot out all
Isn't
at
that
once.
wild to
Yeah,
think about? You would think that maybe like consuming cannabis
would make you be a better dreamer.
Right,
Like,
right.
You know what? It's not just because cannabis does the same thing that alcohol does. It keeps you slower.
the lower vibrations.
Or no, not the lower vibrations, but the lower fields, or the higher fields of sleep. Places where you're
Like
not
REM
sleeping.
sleep and deep sleep.
Yeah, you're not getting your deep
Light
sleep.
sleep. That's what my Fitbit said. Light sleep, REM sleep, deep sleep.
And then if you are getting,
REM's
if you are getting the
REM,
deep sleep,
well, REM
then
sleep
that
is like
means
in between
probably
deep sleep and light sleep. There's like a little area that you could hit, and I always wanted to try and see if I could hit that REM sleep. Did I dream and I didn't know? Did I forget?
I have what's it called where you don't get
Sleep apnea.
sleep apnea, and that affects I think my
REM.
REM, and that's probably why I don't dream much.
Yeah.
I can see
Or
that.
you have very like vivid and crazy.
Yeah, when I do dream.
It's always a boat. I'm always like on the boat trying to get to the top before it sinks. And nobody's aware, and I'm not allowed to tell anybody, but I've got to make it through the
I
top.
wonder if that's a past life for you.
And sometimes there's friends and family, and other times it's just me. And there's never this sense of dread. It's just more of like,
Fuck, this is insane.
okay, here we go. and there was one time it was like,
This is a reoccurring dream.
well, I would like to call it reoccurring, but it's not always the same. It's not always the same.
That's
I
still
I get what that mean. I get what you mean though. It's the same feeling,
It's
the
the
same
same-
feeling.
I've never had a
the same-
But
reoccurring dream.
what was wild is my last time I had this dream was I had a dream. I dreamt about two people that just said they weren't going to be a part of it. They're like, I'm not dealing with a sinking ship, and they opened doors, like glass doors, and walked out and just disappeared. And then I was like, oh, there's my door out. And then so I gotta go all the way back out to my body, trying to get back all the way to the top. And they're just like,
Wow.
deep around. They can't make it more than 4 feet without running 3 circles. I finally looked out, I'm like, you need to get to the top of this shit very soon. I don't know if those doors are gonna last, if we're gonna have to find our own. They're like, what doors? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, that
There's
sounds
doors.
like life with kids. For
Yeah,
sure.
like, we just gotta get to the doors, okay?
All right, we just gotta get to the doors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta escape the back rooms.
Right, I don't know what it was. We got to the top, and then all of a sudden it was just like a bubble at the top, it just gone.
I want you guys to ignore what I'm about to do. I'm gonna adjust the camera angle to be you all because it only has us.
I
He
don't
does
know
this all
why.
the time.
I don't
He
mean
keeps
to. It just
scooting out of the
happens.
frame. He just does it all.
You
If
know
it's a
why?
preference,
Matter
then I'm
acts
not gonna do
differently
it.
under
I
observation.
He'll
don't
be
notice.
scoot over.
I don't notice
Crazy.
that.
I won't bite you.
It's the slit experiment, right? That, yep, matter acts differently observation. So when you know that you're being observed, you like
You're right over here.
subconsciously like
I'm not the solid beam
We're
of light.
splitting light
I thought it
molecules.
I love a double slit experiment. It's super cool, man. It's really cool. It's pretty fascinating.
Anyway.
How did we even figure that out, though? How do we know that matter acts differently under observation when we were observing the matter to know that it acted
Because
differently?
it did both.
But how do we know that?
Where's the Higgs Bison project
Did we
at?
hide the thing that was observing it in order for it to act differently? Is that what happened?
Because it was through our intention. Because if you look at that light, the cool thing about the double slit experiment is if you look at that light, you say you want it to be the broken fractional line, dot, 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 you will see it as such. And then if you look look away, you do your brain clear, and the picture has a solid light. It will be a solid line of light.
That's not how I interpreted it at all.
I have to agree with Josh here.
No? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I interpreted it as like when matter knows that it's being observed,
It follows the observer.
it acts differently, and so it'll go around the slit because it knows that it's being observed, whereas opposed to
Well, somebody should just look it up real quick.
yeah, we're able to take observation off of it, and then all of a sudden it moves
But going off of this,
fluidly.
so if you're observing it and you're directly affecting it, right? So
Right.
then
How do you do the experiment if it knows that it's being observed? So I would assume that you would have to hide the object that is observing it in order for it to like, act different.
And I was under the impression that they could do it, make it do either or based off of their own
Perception.
mental perception.
No, see what and that's why I feel like people act differently when they know a camera is in front of them, is because they know they're being observed, and so their vibration fields
It's
is
not
different.
reality
They're like,
TV. It's
oh yeah, this is super weird, right? And like, oh, don't take my picture, right? Because
It's
they
the
know they're
social,
being observed.
it's the social media front
Yeah,
of this
yeah,
is
that
what
makes
I
sense.
want you to see.
Right.
This isn't what I, you allow people to see what you want them to see.
Right, yeah. And so it's like you act normal when you don't know what you're
I'm gonna
being
read the
observed.
first two sentences. of
Wikipedia,
what
by the way, this is not scientifically sourced.
Yeah.
This is just a
The double slit experiment. In modern physics, the double slit experiment demonstrates that light and matter can exhibit behavior of both classic particles and classical waves. This type of experiment was first performed by Thomas Young in 1801.
But it wasn't based on the observer.
That's more of, I think you're thinking of Schrodinger's cat. Right?
No, but I do like the time that you said that, 'cause I was just watching Big Bang Theory, and it was that episode about Schrodinger's cat. Oh my gosh, that's good stuff.
So you see where I connect.
Have you guys
with
heard
that.
of Schrodinger's cat?
Yep.
I love it. That's such a great. That's like my 52 deck concept that I have. If you have 52 cards in your deck and you don't know what's where, then you have the potential of it to always be the card that you choose being at the top of the deck because it's exponential potential, right? So if you were to practice that and make that a solidified mindset to a point where it was habit to look at life in that manner, then think about how much you could manifest.
Manifestation, for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it's like a practice in
Yep.
how to bring forth
Absolutely.
focus.
Real shit too. Real,
Right?
super real.
Yeah,
For sure.
So,
Yeah,
have I done anything with it? No, that's just knowledge.
You know what I manifested for myself once, or actually multiple times, was like once specifically that I can like recall in short memory would be hot cocoa. Was I dreamt about hot cocoa one day, and I showed up
You
to
were
work.
the marshmallow.
Yeah. Okay. More now so than back then. I woke up and I dreamt about and this was one of the times I was pregnant actually, and I went to work and I was like, man, I really want some hot cocoa, but like I'd have to go unlock all these doors and get back to the break room, and I'd have to like hope that someone left me blah blah blah. I walk over to the water cooler, literally one pack of hot cocoa just sitting on the top of the water cooler, and it was like, that was really, I think, when I knew that I was like really harnessing the power of manifestation. It was like really solidified it.
Wow. And when you get into that mindset, you really fall into the mindset of that.
Yep.
Well, you find like it's the very definition of believing.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a faith in not just universe but yourself in order to like.
You ever heard the expression, a hand willing to receive has to be open to give?
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
I love that.
Well, and it's like the whole
That is beautiful.
your heart and your mind need to be in alignment. As if they aren't in alignment.
You can't receive.
It's re-saying the same thing he said.
And you have to be very specific.
you.
Okay. So like my daughter's father one time, he was like, one day I'm gonna get checks from the government. Okay, I'm gonna get checks from the government. So he opened his mailbox one day and he did. He had a check from the U.S. Treasury. He opened it. It was for $1, and he was getting them every year. And so it was like this. And he is kind of one of the people that opened me up to the idea of manifestation, and like not just like the movie The Secret and stuff like that. But Marcus like really instilled it in me. And he goes, so you need to be specific. It's very. That's why like vision boards are very important, because
Jim
like I got
Carrey
a check
writing a
from the
$10
government.
million
It was
check to
$1.
himself,
Yeah.
cashing it And like 5 years later,
That's why I say you were walking yourself through it. You saw yourself going to the break room, unlocking this, and going through this, and going through that, and then you were there because you already did it, and it was already there.
Man.
You put it there.
I did.
And your heart and your mind were in alignment. And that's what brought it forward.
Living through those higher and upper chakras too, right? And not allowing yourself to live out of fear.
Yeah, man. And fear is just like control. It's super fucking sneaky. Yep. It's almost like a byproduct of the desire for control. Like the desire to have control is already sneaky enough, and then it creates the fear as another byproduct to keep you just a little bit more distracted from being able to do what you want to do. Definitely. Yep. And then your heart's not in sync with your brain, or your brain's not in sync with your heart. You either don't believe yourself, or you believe in yourself, but your brain's like, well, you don't believe yourself.
That inner dialogue of mine's Jason Statham.
I don't know. I like that you put it.
Thing about the observer is like that was such a trip, dude. How did it even go? It was like
He asked you to do two things. He said, think in your head, what phone am I holding in my hand right now? Alright, I'm going to do it in a minute. Alright, now say it out loud. So, which one were you? That's the trick question. The real thing is which one do you want? Because you get the option to choose. Like,
it's the voice in your head. Did you say that, or did you hear it? That's was the other part. The voice in your head. When you said in your head what phone you're holding, was that you saying it, or did you hear it?
well,
And that tripped me out. That tripped me out.
Here's the thing that goes with that, alright? So if we are observers, observing what we're doing, we're observing our thoughts. And we're choosing which ones we want, which ones we're going to play through. So what if thoughts aren't ours, but they are a creation of the energy field that we currently use?
And that's actually like a really that's a long theory from long back. You know, there was actually I want to say either Tesla or Alexander Bell. There was someone who literally had the same exact thought and patent. I mean, it wasn't patented at the time, but written down an experiment for the telephone or for electricity.
It's like this collective fucking
Right, like thoughts are recycled.
It's kind of like,
are,
well, and it's kind of like the monkeys on the island. Once you got 100 monkeys out of any of the islands, learn something, you can pick any island. Once 100 monkeys learn that, all of the monkeys on the island
Wasn't too. There was also another example where they did a study. They took crossword puzzle people, and they measured their metrics on crossword puzzles, and then secretly they gave the day-old crossword puzzles like they're in advance. And even though they didn't know it, collectively they did better because more people
were.
Collectively mind thoughting.
So that energy.
mind thoughting. Hashtag mind thoughting.
So the energy field creates itself.
Right.
And that's why you gotta be mindful of who you hang out with, because if you hang out with is who you become. That's how you find new things to do. Get new talents, find new people, so on and so forth. And
Don't hang out with yourself. Yeah, that's me.
Alan Watts talks something about when you're talking in your head and you're like trying to meditate, the chatter in the brain, but it's like it's all learned that you picked up from other places, different people, and the way that people judge you and make you feel. So you're trying to change. So all the judgment and thought in your head is all the collective stuff that you learned. So it's not you. Your thoughts are not you.
We're even getting into territory with emotions because your emotions are not you. Like, I'm not an angry person. I'm just feeling angry right now.
the expression is there to show me where I'm at.
Yeah.
What kind of
Goes
thoughts are
back
about
to you talking about it being this is where you're at currently.
Which is really cool. If we go from there, what's really awesome about that is it shows that we are creators. Through our emotions, we create a field around us. Through that field, we bring in and attract the type of thoughts or ideas that we need to have in order to have progression, right? So that's our true power manifesting right there. So when you can get in alignment with your thoughts and acknowledge them on their own level, where you doctor them to be super healed.
Right.
then you can start having power over something.
approaching them with like a rationality as opposed to just like feeling them and then thinking them and then like thinking them with your feelings, right?
Here's another part of that. It's like when you wanted that coffee or that hot chocolate, you wanted it so bad you can and you wanted it so bad you could feel it come from your chest.
Not the whipped cream. But
Really start to smell.
That remembers.
I wanted it, but not bad enough.
So then now you know the emotional frequencies of
Right, right.
and it can be as specific or as vague as your understanding takes it to apply to the next thing, right? So then, if that's the case, then understanding your emotions, not just so you know where you're at, but so you know how to tweak them when they meet.
Because things are happening on a level probably beyond our
Absolutely.
comprehension.
Right? I mean, we can only see 1/3 of what cats can see.
Yeah.
Or that shrimp that has
Mantis shrimp?
Yeah, 7 different
I think
color
7
rods
sounds-
in their eyes. Yeah, can you
I bet
imagine
they're
the
sick
dimensions that they can see?
gangers.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Somebody's got to give them a paintbrush, bro.
So then,
But we couldn't even interpret it.
No,
because
no,
our
it could
eyes
be like-
can't pick it up.
so then if our
right?
eyes
But
can't
like,
pick it up,
This
is
is not
it
odds.
invisible or is
no,
it a gray?
yeah, we just
Is it a black tone? Is it a gray tone?
we'd have to go through multiple dimensions in order to like.
I bet you it's a black or a gray.
You think so?
Yeah, because like
To
black,
you, maybe.
well, a black, gray, or a white, right? It would have to be a value because it's either an absence of color, like green. Green is green because all the other colors are absorbed, right? And we can see that our rods can pick up that color of green. But if it was a color we couldn't see, it wouldn't be a blind spot in all the other colors that were absorbed. It would have to be.
Actually, I have a hot take on where you're going with that because they say
Shade?
purple is actually doesn't exist, but our mind makes purple because we can.
Yeah, because we need to replace it with the color that we can comprehend with the color rods in our eyes.
What?
But if we had no way to but think about it, if we had no way,
Where did we start?
Sal Wayne and fire.
Yeah.
That's
She's
okay.
like, we can
There was a
imagine the
warning in the description that we're going to be a group today. We'll see what happens. The topic initially is going to touch on. We'll see what happens.
Very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Laid back.
all over the
No.
Loosey goosey.
What do they call it?
Freeform. We're trying to.
Freeform.
Freestyle.
Yeah. It's like in improv. But yeah, all of
I
those.
could go behind. I could go behind some improv.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
It blooms
Purple
organically.
doesn't exist because your mind is trying.
This exists though.
That's the argument.
All red and blue.
That's kind of like
How is
saying
it
that pink is a
something
color.
that doesn't exist?
It's really
It's a
it's a
shade.
shade.
It makes you want to read
It
medical
doesn't
journals
It can be a
about
shade or a
eyes.
tint.
Like, how do
I
eyes
just want to get technical.
And what?
It can be a shade or a tint depending on you're using white or black.
Not what I learned in art school.
Yeah, it's-
but
it's-
If that's not what's there, then what was supposed to be
I
there?
paid good money for
It's
that.
red, pink is a derivative of red. It's just red shaded down. No, pink.
Sorry.
We were talking about purple.
Oh.
Purple.
Purple doesn't exist. If it's not purple, then what is it? What was supposed to be there?
It's red and blue.
But we and because they what do they
And it's-
technically?
I suppose maybe I don't know enough where I should maybe not.
Link it in the
mention
bottom.
Link it in the bottom.
We'll
Yeah.
add
We'll do
more-
some further research. and-
Or if it's something that fancies you, by all means jump on
Please
and
do.
comment your knowledge, get involved.
I think Rick Barth is the one that's been sticking around here. So thank you, Rick.
Yay.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. That's my
Thank you,
husband.
Red.
Is it?
That's my husband.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
so
purple
much
doesn't
fun.
exist. Around from fire.
The pink isn't a color, it's a shade. Or it's
No, you're, yeah, because the primary color is red, yellow, blue, and in the middle of that, secondary
Well,
color is green,
And
orange.
you could just argue, like, here's an easy way to argue it. If you put white into blue, what color is it? It's just a lighter blue.
Lighter blue, that, yeah.
But pink
But I
is
guess
a lighter shade of red. That's not
if purple doesn't exist, then how could orange or green exist? Because maybe it's only blue, red, yellow exists, and we mix the colors together in our head to perceive the other colors.
we assume the blended colors, and they may not actually exist, but because we're
I'm pretty
creative,
sure
we
it
get
has
the
something to
ability
do
to see
with the
it
way
that way.
that light shines through a crystal. I mean, that's where we saw the rainbow.
It's
The rainbow's
split
in
the
the
spectrum,
sky,
yeah.
And
But that's
you
just
can
our
observe
human
it through a
spectrum,
crystal.
right?
So what
Roy
happens
G. Biv.
what happens between the colors that refract from the crystal? You got the red, and then you
guess-
see that color, and then you're trying to.
The split hair of it
Fill in
is
the cracks?
what we're perceiving is happening and what scientifically actually is happening.
And then
It's
if
the
you wanna-
interesting concept with, you know, because colorblind
Jump in
people,
on it?
yeah.
All right, so I showed her a video about brains being connected to computer chips.
Oh, here we go.
Yes. And it's a little bit terrifying. But now here's the fun aspect of it, right? So if these brains, because these brains can be connected to computer chips, connected to a computer, made to be thought it's a butterfly because it doesn't know any better, but it's still conscious, sentient, it thinks it's a butterfly. So if we take that concept and apply it to ourselves, we could be brain matter on a disc, living as creators as a human being. And when we die, we don't actually die. We just are done with the existence of being a human being. And to go back to whatever this is, or whatever the next thing is. So if that's the case, then that means we aren't limited as human beings because we are not humans.
Well,
We're
it's
just
energy.
yeah, exactly. Right. So, but like, it breaks a barrier in your mind, and it allows for you to be able to connect dots in a way that gives human potential limitless opportunity. Because you are no longer bound by just being human. You are now like a super processor, experiencing.
you could achieve it.
Well, and here's the thing. But and then if we are in an alternate reality, right? Like we can have and use our electronics. We're just not aware of the electronics being used on us to live the 3D life as humans.
So we can hack it so that we can have Mantis vision.
I
mean,
that's-
Essentially.
yeah, essentially.
CRISPR.
Like,
Essentially, if you believe. If you believe it.
yeah, if the faith is half the battle.
Right.
And then,
I mean, look at people who like pulled cars off of like tragic car accidents, right? Like if you believe that you can.
The mother energy. Of,
Right.
look at
Yeah.
the guy.
Yes.
Look at the guy who
Yeah.
look at the guy who invented the car. It's called the horseless carriage because he wanted something a horse could do without having to maintenance a horse.
Right.
Little did he realize. But like at one point that was a fictional item at best. It was that it's a literal magic.
I really admire like science fiction writers
Even
for that
free.
reason alone, because of the amount of like fruition that
That's
they
why
have.
Star
Like,
Trek, the original British
New
series,
languages.
Right.
because of the creativity that went into making the 60s look.
yeah.
Did you know the
And how
New
it,
York
like,
Times used to shit talk like, oh, we're so far away from flying technology, and then like a couple of years later, the Wright brothers,
Right.
But that's all it takes. It's almost like they know you just got to put the thought way about it. Right. Enough people latch on to somebody.
It's collective consciousness.
right, or even that one person with enough belief.
It's dangerous though, because that's how Scientology started.
Facts.
And then
Girl.
Mormonism.
Science fiction writer
And then
became
if you
real
get
good.
Yeah.
And then if you get
Tom Cruise came.
Yeah.
and then if you get a grid of cell phones, like the next step from that is like you just gotta watch the inventions pop up based off their conversations, and then you have future inventions.
Well, and you know what's one interesting thing that I've read or I've heard is like, when you're talking about certain things and they pop up in your advertisements, right? So I have had it, and maybe you guys have experienced it too, where you have not mentioned anything at all, but you had been thinking it, and then all of a sudden it pops up in your advertisements. More so when you're in the shower, which is really, really interesting because water conducts energy. And so if you're having these thoughts can be conducted and put forth to, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, and
Like,
your
They're putting
device.
AI and everything.
yeah,
dude.
it's wild, man. I've had so many thoughts just like by myself or in the shower, and then I come
Well,
out and like
More
it's all
things
of a sudden-
affect your energy than people realize.
Yeah.
Like, because I even learned with the gypsum in drywall.
Yeah, right.
And it is
Yep,
like-
yep. They put that in there to disable our ability to transmit thoughts.
It's like the fluoride of walls, man.
Exactly. Fluoride walls, man. Hashtags.
Thank you, one person watching.
That's you, Bryson.
There's energy in everything, and frequency, everything.
Can I just point out,
Music.
they say we are the sixth society, the sixth civilization to exist on planet Earth throughout its entire existence, right?
Yeah.
So,
I'm just kidding.
like, I'm just thinking, like, we had 6 other civilizations before us that have, there's evidence, oh, sorry, 5. That there's evidence that they have technology that is like way beyond our time. We are overdue for mass extinction, and this is all that we are.
I know,
Don't
and
you
we're
think as
digressing,
the
bro.
sixth generation, the 6th generation of civilization should be
Overdue for
like
mass
something.
extinction.
This is what happens when you let ego get in the way of growth and
Gosh,
progress.
I'm
You know, like we gotta like
Ego is a
kill your ego, man.
Well,
Kill your idols.
I don't even know that you want to kill your ego as much as I think acknowledge your ego.
So apparently you actually have to have an ego in order to
Kill your ego.
right.
Yeah,
you
we live a
can't
life of
technically
duality. When we live a life of duality.
well, and without an ego, you technically do not exist at all. Like your ego
idea
is an
of self.
acknowledgement, is an idea of self.
What if the ego was the pre-programmed nature that we came with? Because God was like, okay, I want to experience myself with these thought processes.
Well, fuck you.
Boom, there's your ego.
I want my money back.
So that's the dimensional frame you get to live your life in. But think about it. What's cool about that is it's not.
Is it cool, man?
Well, it's not killing. You're not really killing ego, right? Like you're getting to know it and learn it.
Right.
And once you understand it, then it can become what you need it to be.
Right.
Right. So we just because we come with pre-programming doesn't mean it's not a state program.
Right.
We get the ability as creators to create our own programs, but we can't
to
start
see
with
with Memphis
nothing.
vision.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Well,
We'll call it
and it's all based.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
vision.
And since it's all like based off of your preset.
False.
Yeah, like, and since everybody else's presets or presettings are different, then
Right.
you get different character roles. It's like Skyrim.
Yeah.
Whoa! Not as much as it.
Never played it for a reason, bro. I would have got sucked in.
Actually, yeah, that's one of those games where you're like, so you're telling me it'll consume everything?
It's like
You know, and I
World of
gotta say,
Warcraft or what?
it's just there's so much.
But like for like Tool listeners, right?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm
Yeah, I don't know. I just like
Or No Man's Sky.
Not
They
not
busted
Perfect
it.
Circle. Not
They busted
Nickelback,
out.
bro.
They
See
busted
the
out.
piece
They
of
busted
spit.
out the. It was just crazy to watch them bust out the creation channel or the creation mode for it. Like they went and did something that they've never done with any other game. They do a mod station, so you could develop it to your grandeur. Now, we
So it's
want-
Minecraft for Skyrim.
Yeah, we can do that.
The first modded game ever was Doom. Or like being the Doom release the code to the public
Oh, no doubt.
where the gamer could alter the game in any way.
Back in the 80s or what?
When no 92, or
Oh,
yeah,
my goodness,
around
excuse me,
there.
I was-
No.
yeah, yeah.
I watched a video game documentary.
It was wrong.
But yeah, Doom was one of the first publicly released modded games where people could rewrite it and like make it look like it's Batman, and he's like, yeah.
Wow.
And so that's what they did
That's
with
awesome.
this. Well, then they took it a step farther and they took the best of, I won't say the best, but probably some of the more popular parts of the mods that players came up with, and they just encrypted it into the game so that everybody would have it. And it's just a whole new set of quest lines, you can farm it, all this
Cool,
stuff.
dude.
But what's really cool about it is that game has really opened my eyes on how to like live my life right now.
Good.
You just get to learn truths.
Awesome.
You know, about playing up.
Looking at life
Whatever it
as a
takes.
video
you know?
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it
Yeah,
really
life
is.
is a video game.
So interestingly enough, like my sister who had brain surgery when she was 18, she actually had an aneurysm and survived it. Lost like 4 liters of blood. Crazy, super crazy. Yeah, she had an aneurysm and then she ended up hemorrhaging in the middle of surgery. So she has a fiberglass. Fiberglass piece that was 3D printed for her back in 2008 to put like as half of her skull is basically fiberglass. But she still is crazy. She's crazy. Don't do this at home, but she still consumes some mushrooms. And she had told me once that when she was tripping balls on mushrooms, that she was hearing 3 different people come in and out of her wavelengths, and they call themselves programmers. and they essentially told her just that life is a video game, and you are absolutely capable of programming. Yeah, and she talks about
That was a new Twilight Zone when all of a sudden there's like a pause in reality, but this one chick didn't pause, and these programmers were like, we're trying to talk to support. Sorry about this. What do you mean?
So, and like I had a good friend who passed away a long time ago, like 10 years ago, maybe longer than that, but she said that Trey would also come in and out of her like voices that would come in and out of her head. He was, just one of the most like enlightened. He was diagnosed with cancer at like 17 and had 10 years to live, and in that 10 years just literally became one of the most like enlightened people I've ever met in my entire life, and paired with Trisha, who was also given this crazy traumatic experience at such a young age, and forced to kind of like wake up and realize the importance and fragility of life. Like
I think that's why I like last month videos.
Yeah.
Because like some of the most random stuff happens.
Are you talking about like in like hospice?
No, like YouTube, people's last moments, whether it's doing something really dumb or something they just didn't realize was going to end their life. Because in that moment, like, you get to see somebody make a very innocent choice that you don't think anything of, and then something happens and they're gone, and you're like, man, that literally is all it takes.
Yeah.
You're talking about watching last moment
I
videos
know,
where people die.
that's sick, bro.
That's
Yeah,
like, I was trying to and I
Guilty
understand-
confession. Every time I open up
Oh, I love
Instagram,
watching
it's
people die.
accident videos that pop
I
up.
get
not
what
like I
you're
love
saying. I
Yeah,
get what you're
yeah,
saying, but
yeah.
like I was trying to grasp
The algorithm when
I
we're like
realized
pooping
it
and
was
watching
just
stuff.
I was kind of wondering that too. I was like, oh, okay, this is so simple. Like you're
It's
watching
just-
hospice videos of people taking their last
I
breath.
think
Nope.
no,
Yeah, same but different. Yeah,
But-
no, that's way different.
But it's like,
yeah,
It
I don't
shows
know.
you the
I don't know.
frailty,
Fragility,
yeah. or the-
not just the
frailty. You're right. Yeah.
but not just
Organ.
that, but like it, for a second there, it shows you how much weight you put on the decisions you make.
Right.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
I love it.
don't
It's such
like
a
that.
surreal feeling.
Right, because it really makes you like face the acceptance that and living in every single moment as it is. You can literally
it's
step outside and get
enough
hit by
for
a bus.
me to just
and
realize
like,
that today might be the last day. So say nice things to people.
the minute could
Tell
be
the
the last
people that
minute.
you love them. Yeah, that way. Looking at it like that. I don't like picturing. I could have been like, I'm gonna order this coffee. I'm gonna turn around and I don't want that to be my last moment. I don't like thinking
You don't
like
have to
that.
envision the last moment. You can just.
I mean, those are the kind of
But it's
videos I'm
just-
thinking you're
But it's super dark though. You guys are
It
weird.
is- it's just-
That's okay. This is me.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with you guys. No ego.
Or like-
who am I to judge, right? Like,
or
I
the-
came here to listen to Bailey Sarian. So.
or the videos.
She talks all about like true crime, murder mystery, makeup Monday, bro. She's super hot. Bailey Sarian.
I know the name Bailey, but not the last.
Murder, makeup, mystery.
Monday.
I wish I knew what that was.
Bailey Sarian, I love it.
It's a great way to start your morning.
Yeah.
Murder mystery novels.
All the time,
Look up
bro.
mass
Go to
murders,
sleep,
and then she'll
go to
tell you
bed.
all about them, their
Yep.
life, like how they grew up, and some of
And she does her makeup at the same time.
Phenomenal makeup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's
Yeah.
super hot.
Okay.
Yeah, super cute. Very humble.
So slay.
Yeah.
I want to share a quote that helps me with the idea of death
Oh, I would love
because,
that.
like you were saying, I don't like that. The frailty of any moment could just be like, what the? No, but
It's hard not to live in fear when you think of it like that.
there's only one instant, and it's right now, and it's eternity. Like viewing time
One
as
instant
just
right now, and it's eternity.
the present. Like that's all we have is the moment right now that's just happening. There's no going back, there's no going forward, that's all we ever have. And that's eternity.
Just like that
Well, what's beautiful about that is if you see yourself like that, it's like a dot in the hole, right? And you can look out and see all the other light that's around you. And that's every instantaneous image that you can choose to observe. So your next given moment, that you really can't be in the future of it. You can't go back to what's already happened. You can see all your next moments go to choose whether or not you want it to be
Well, yeah, you want to be the chess player, not the chess piece, right?
Yeah,
You want
that's
to.
really that's something that I've seen in a lot of my fantasy novels growing up as a kid, and it's something I had a really hard time grasping until a book that I came across recently. I say recently.
The other day,
Yeah.
when I was in junior
But
high.
it's really cool because the author gives a really great written perspective on how to see yourself outside of the chess pieces that we see ourselves. And it's really interesting to see just how much how here we are with our lives. Yay!
Are you okay?
No.
Oh.
No, we'll finish the little truck I was working on. So how much should we do it right around the
Hello, husband.
You want to come
Come pop, yeah, come sit down.
I think it's beautiful how everything you guys are talking about and
Has
like
nothing to
every
do with
culture.
Samhain.
Well, Samhain,
Sorry,
Samhain,
There's a nice
fire.
little string like this.
I mean, kind of. We're talking about death,
I didn't mean to.
honoring the dead. But you're okay. How in like every culture, when everybody's looking for happiness, the root always comes back to be here now.
Be here now.
Be here now.
Hashtag
The
Ram Dass.
present is what matters.
Be here now.
Be here now, and how to be here.
Being present.
What does it entail? And everything
Even if
that
you don't
talks
understand
about
it, in the moment you accept it.
You have to. That's. I feel like those are the two biggest lessons in life: is love and acceptance.
You know, maybe watching the movies is what that does. It brings you to your current.
Well, that makes me feel better.
Reminds you
sitting
how to
across
do it.
from you and absorbing this energy. I feel less sociopathic.
I know, right? Like my brain goes really paces.
Yeah.
Wait.
You're not just gonna watch my Instagram death and like move on. It's like,
Oh my gosh, that just happened.
Christ
whoa,
walk
share.
away with that memory. That dude really likes to watch me die. Nice guy, but does he
They don't
really
even
like
have to. They don't even have to die. Like sometimes, like it's like the videos of people that are hiking and then they're lost. Like you find their last moments of their video. We don't know if they're found. We don't know
The
what
Blair Witch
happened,
Project.
but there's the video. Man, the first time I ever watched it, I think I was like 12. And I thought it was
I got motion sickness. I was just pissed.
When everybody's like, no, Paranormal Activity's real, bro. Yeah, no, it wasn't directed or written by anybody.
They just happen to find all those cameras with those things
The
happening.
fourth time tripped me out more than both of those.
Actually, you're right, because they had in the beginning of the movie, the star, what's her name? She's like, the video side by sides are real compared to what.
Yeah, it was a really good one.
Jeez. Fourth trip. Or the fourth guy.
Yeah, the fourth trip.
Let me tell you.
Fourth trip was actually with you, Bryson, and we had a really good time. I remember hugging a gallon of milk, I think, actually. It's like the 14th trip, but
My favorite DMT
Dangerous.
joke
Don't do
is
that at
I don't
home.
want to do DMT because, when I die, I don't want it to be the ninth coolest DMT trip.
When you were talking about the programmers and the thing, it's like DMT, the thing where you
spirit molecule.
the what?
Programmers.
Yeah, but they're not called the programmers. They're called something where
The ayahuasca
the
goddess.
machine
Yeah.
people or
Yeah, ayahuasca goddess is different from DMT though. Like they're different planes of existence. You were tapping into it.
everybody
True.
needs these people. They're like machine something or other.
Huh. I don't know, I've never heard that term.
I'll link it. Don't worry.
Yeah, link it. We're gonna link it. Ayahuasca and DMT and mushrooms and all the
What a
machines.
fun
Maybe
group.
even salvia.
I told you.
Salvia has got to be one of the most intense.
I've heard that a lot, actually. I tried.
What was crazy about it was coming back and having the trip pick up where it left off. Like that salvia. If you want to know where you're at emotionally, spiritually in your life, and how much you can actually handle
Don't
yourself,
try this at home,
that's
guys.
not
This is a private group. It's
Disclaimer.
gonna be members only. Okay, members only. Private group. Discretion is advised.
Hey,
Don't try this at
Parental
home.
advisory.
Drink coffee.
salvia is legal. You can get it at some scary stuff though, man. I don't suggest it.
If you want to know where you're at mentally and emotionally, though.
Yeah, no, they don't tell you.
Contact Brittany.
10 minutes flat. It's
Call a
standard.
friend
Who needs a
first.
mental health assessment?
Apparently, my mind is circle.
Or if you want to take a quick break.
Just have a friend videotape it and see.
You know, I've got life experience. That's about all it is.
According to who,
And then
man?
you take the salary and you're like, oh, I have no life.
Is it? That's true. According to the observer in his body.
Observer in these.
The crab observer doesn't even take notes.
I asked the chat earlier,
How
are
am I
you
supposed
the
to know about
observer or
myself
the
if I can't
observer?
remember what I did yesterday?
See, I always thought that I was saying things that people were thinking, but based on the reaction, I don't know. Based on people's reactions most of the time, I'm like, that is not what they were thinking.
They were just really good. Enthusiastically agreeing with you. Like, yeah.
Like, I wish I thought of that, man. Okay, well, I am verbally and mentally and physically exhausted. I go to bed at like 8 o'clock every night, so
Well, there you go. This
Toddlers
place
You're
closes
hitting
at
your
8, so we
ceiling.
I am. And plus,
Wrap
the place
it up.
is closing soon, and I would like to be respectful of that. But I do not want to disregard the importance and gratitude that I have for you inviting me out and
I'm
us
so glad
finally
that you
meeting
came
up.
out. Thanks for coming out, Bryce. Jocelyn.
Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
Bryson, Rick.
Bryson, nice to meet you. Foosh.
Yep. He's a phenomenal musician, local artist. You want to buy some
Thanks for coming out. Oh my gosh, this is kind of what it would look like if we had people here. And
The spiritual view.
Well, I
Don't
would
be
love to meet
scared.
up like every other week. I mean, I have my kids every week, but
Whatever you want.
yeah, for sure. It's a pleasure. Had a great time. You have more flakes in your beard. Obviously, save for later. I mean, I don't care if they care. They probably don't care.
he's never on the camera. Nobody sees him.
There you go. You got it. Yeah,
I'm like way outside the camera.
I got lots of flakes in my hair. It's called dandruff.
Was that a
So.
face? I thought I might have just had my face.
Rick, it was a pleasure. Thank you for joining for the last 4 minutes of our first service, the service.
All right, I'm gonna kill the live.
Yeah.
Bye. Until next time.